welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, November 5th, 2019. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. 26-year-old Lionel George, also known as Gobbler, was shot in broad daylight today in the Middle Street area of capital Kingston. Up until news time, he was said to be in critical condition at the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital. Eyewitnesses say George was in the area around 10:30 a.m. when another man wearing sunglasses walked up to him and shot him several times to the upper part of his body. The assailant reportedly made good on his escape eastward towards the market, which is a block away from the Central Police Station. George, who was bleeding profusely, was rushed to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital by a close family member for medical attention. George, who is from Rockies, is well known to the police. In August this year, he was arrested and charged with 3 counts of robbery. He was also deemed a person of interest into the murder investigation of a Sharps resident last year. Meanwhile, the police issued a wanted person bulletin for Elijah Alexander, also known as Soups, who they say is a person of interest into today's shooting incident in Middle Street, Kingston. The wanted man is a laborer and is said to be 5 feet 9 inches tall, stout and dark in complexion with narrow facial features. The police said he is considered armed and dangerous, and persons are advised to approach him with caution. If seen, persons are asked to immediately contact any police station or Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crime at telephone number 4561339 or the officer in charge of CID at telephone number 4561810. Call, they say, will be treated with confidence. In other news, the newly formed Christian Coalition, which is made up of 10 local churches, has made an application to the High Court as an interested party in the case brought by 2 Vincentian gay men who are challenging the country's buggery and gross indecency laws. In an interview with SVGTV News today, representatives from the Christian Coalition made it clear that they are not against gays, lesbians, bisexuals, transgenders or queers, but rather the behavior, and will not stand idly and allow a minority of people to legislate for the majority of the population. The men challenging the country's buggery and gross indecency laws have put forward the argument that the laws leftovers from British colonial rule are discriminatory, inhumane, and against the basic tenets of the Vincentian Constitution that protect the rights and freedoms of every citizen. The Christian Coalition, on the other hand, said the section of the laws that are being asked to be struck out by the claimants should remain unchanged, as barrister and solicitor Misha Cruikshank explains.
Vincent that criminalize homosexuality or criminalize lesbianism. The laws that are being challenged are criminalizing a conduct, a behavior, and that behavior is the practice of anal penetration. So we need to make it very clear to the nation that the churches, the Coalition of Christian Churches in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in their application to the court, are not seeking the criminalization of homosexuality, because there are no such laws. What the Coalition of Christian Churches are opposing is a practice of anal penetration. So that needs to be clear to the nation. We love anybody at all who associates with homosexual lifestyle, whether gay or lesbian. The issue is not the person, the issue is the behavior, and because we love you, we are advising you, stay away from this conduct, stay away from this practice, because it is dangerous to your health.
Another barrister at law, Mandela Peters, and Pastor Terence Haynes of the Seventh-day Adventist Church are also members of the Christian Coalition, reiterated reiterated the need for love to prevail and shared to the LGBTQ community. They, however, noted that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land and must be upheld.
Message should go through the lens and breadth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, that Jesus saves and that he is the only way to the Father. So we're calling back our nation to Christian moral principles, so back to the belief in God. Our Constitution was founded upon the belief in the supremacy of God, and we've seen where we have shifted as a nation. We cannot stay silent. We have to speak about these issues. We have to speak against the crime and pray against this in our land. Crime, violence, incest, rape, sexual abuse, homosexuality, the buggery laws.
Not calling for laws to be implemented. We're saying what laws are there. They are like a perimeter guard fence. When I come through my front gate and I shut it back, my garden fence or my fence around my property, that's not legislating against anybody. That is just saying there delimits to where you can access. It gives the occupants in the house safety, and therefore we are saying these laws, such as the buggery law, have been there. We're not saying add more. We're saying they're there. They're saying as a perimeter to the levels of morality that we have accepted.
The members of the Christian Coalition said it is time that the Christian community speak up and let their voices be heard on issues that infringe on morality.
What's the big deal? Is it just because of this challenge to the constitutionality of buggery? But however, we see these issues as a red line in the sand, and the implications that removal of the buggery laws in St. Vincent and Grenadines can pose. And historically, in other jurisdictions, we've seen that a similar pattern happen. First, it was the buggery laws moved, and then other things came in. Not only that, but we are also seeing that there are attitudes in our society that might predispose somebody to think that it is optimum time to remove these buggery laws. Therefore, our response is not just simply to the constitutionality of the buggery laws or not, but we're looking at other issues that
church recognize that this challenge to our buggery laws, we could not sit back and stay silent. We recognize, we look at the outer world, and we see what is happening now. Same-sex unions, we see Christian liberty is in jeopardy in some of these places. You cannot say, even repeat what God's word is saying about that lifestyle. We do not hate people, because when we look at the Bible, we saw Jesus, and I always like Zacchaeus because that was my favorite Sunday school song. But Jesus went to the home of this man, and after he left, this guy was transformed. He was changed.
The next hearing in the legal challenges to the buggery laws is slated for November 13th. Today, Tuesday, November 5th, is recognized as International Tsunami Awareness Day, where countries around the world use the opportunity to bring awareness to the phenomenon and highlight the work being done to build resilience against its impacts. Worldwide, tsunamis have claimed more than 260,000 lives, or an average of 4,600 per disaster, surpassing any other natural hazard. The highest number of deaths have been recorded by the tsunami in December 2004 in the Indian Ocean, which caused an estimated 227,000 fatalities in 14 countries, with Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India, and Thailand hardest hit. World Tsunami Awareness Day was the brainchild of Japan, which, due to its repeated bitter experience, has over the years built up major expertise in areas such as tsunami early warning systems and public action such as infrastructural development to reduce future impacts. Here in SVG, the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, has been partnering with regional and international stakeholders in activities to build awareness and resilience. One of the latest initiatives is the Tsunami Readiness Project. The objectives of this project are designed to develop tsunami inundation and evacuation maps for risk communities, facilitate public awareness activities to encourage discussions and validate information on tsunami evacuation maps for all of these communities. Coastal communities across SVG have been targeted under the project, which main goal is to get them tsunami ready. The Amazona gildingi is a parrot of national significance, and 3 of these birds returned home to a warm welcome last evening at the Argyle International Airport. The parrots were bred at the facilities of the Conservation of Threatened Parrots, the ACTP, in Germany, as part of efforts to ensure the survival of the endangered species. According to reports, a population census conducted in 2010 estimated the number of parrots, or the Amazona gildingi, which was declared the national bird of SVG in 1979, was between 850 to 900, a far cry from the 3,000 plus birds that inhabited the forest during the 1960s and 1970s. Recognizing the need for the conservation of the birds or parrots, the government of SVG entered into a technical partnership to conserve the national bird both within and outside of its natural habitat. Speaking at last evening's welcoming ceremony, Minister of Agriculture Soboto Caesar said having the parrots home is worth celebrating, as SVG continues to be a leader in the area of conservation.
This evening to welcome home 3 of our very own, the Amazona gildingi. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as a small island developing state, we stand as leaders in the vanguard for conservation, not only in the OECS, in CARICOM, but in the entire world. A few years ago, we ensured that every turtle in our jurisdiction was protected. Our recent accomplishments with the Union Island gecko has placed us on the map for conservation.
Minister Caesar thanked the German-based ACTP for its efforts in helping to conserve the national bird, adding that the project will ensure the Amazona gildingi will be around for future generations.
And today, I want us to join hands and hearts to celebrate with the forestry department, the hard-working staff there, friendly organizations in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and special mention must be made of the hard work and dedication of the Association for the Conservation of Threatened Parrots. Because of that work, the youngsters who are here with us, we don't have to worry that when they are 60 years and 70 years, that our birds will be in extinction. They are going to be around. And we as custodians, we have a national duty to continue to play, and I look forward to many more years of good relations with the ACTP as we work to build this blessed country of ours. Thank you very much.
Meanwhile, Director of Forestry Fitzgerald Providence said maintenance of the forest and endemic species are key to the development of SVG, and that the Forestry Department will continue to do its part to preserve both for future generations.
Maintain its habitat, the forest, which provides a lot of benefits to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So when we protect this bird, we protect our livelihoods, our lives, and our development in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because the water you drink comes from the forest that this bird flies in. So without the bird, without the forest, we don't have a future in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I just want to, again, appreciate the work that we've been doing with the Association for the Conservation of Threatened Parrots in terms of the maintenance of these birds. We don't want it ever to have a catastrophic event where we have to only have birds bred in captivity to replace the birds in the forest. We want to protect our forests, so the young people here, the children here, we want you to start the protection for your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren, not my great-grandchildren, but yours. So we want the bird to remain in the wild for the future. We want to protect it, and we want to continue the conservation work with partners like the ACTP and others who want to help us to sustain this population. And we continue to do our work in conservation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, because one species protected means all protected, and our forest is protected. So thank you very much.
Some news coming to hand now. In relation to the shooting incident in Kingston today, we understand that the suspect, Leisure Soups Alexander, is now in police custody. According to a release from the police, as a result of a wanted person bulletin at 6:23 p.m., the suspect surrendered himself to the police at the Major Crimes Unit in the company of his lawyer, Grant Connell. In other news, a fairer workshop for small medical cannabis farmers will be convened here later this week. The workshop is expected to culminate in the formulation of a fair trade charter or protocol for the local medical cannabis industry. The organizers say the outcome of the workshop is expected to be used in a global context and will be considered a significant development once achieved. The workshop is being organized by Transnational Institute, the TNI, in collaboration with the SVG Medical Cannabis Authority and the SVG Cannabis Revival Committee. It will run from Friday, November 8th to Monday, 11th. The organizers say day one of the workshop will bring together a group of more than 100 traditional cannabis cultivators for exchange and learning. The second and third day will bring together policymakers and influencers in a smaller group setting, while the last day will see participants engage in a field trip to observe what's happening on the ground in respect of the local medical cannabis industry. Participants are expected from the CARICOM Ganja Commission, Colombia, Jamaica Cannabis Licensing Authority, as well as from Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, and St. Lucia. Youngsters who are interested in the field of horticulture are being encouraged to join the Horticultural Society to benefit from the expertise of the current members. The invitation was issued by President of the Horticulture Society, Eleanor Macmillan, at the recently concluded Flavors and Flowers exhibition held at the Governor General's residence. The Horticulture Society began with a group of persons who share a love of flowers and plants and grew into a body focus on developing the horticultural skills of members and the public, as well as to plant gardens at various locations. Macmillan said the society is seeking new members and they would love for the youth to get on board.
Going forward, the Horticultural Society is seeking to recruit members, especially young men and women who are interested in horticulture and who would like to gain expertise in plant propagation, such as grafting and building, control of plant growth, pruning, botanical names of plants, diseases and their control, floral arrangements, preparing seed beds for such as lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, cabbages, among others. For your pleasure today, the Horticultural Society has a wide range of displays, such as fresh and dry floral arrangements, orchids, potted plants, etc. We hope you will enjoy your visit, and do feel free to talk with any member of the society to learn how to become a member.
Macmillan highlighted some of the activities the society has been engaged in and those they are looking forward to.
Also, you may have seen us on Mother's Day on the Singers Gallery, where we sell, over the years, bouquets, arrangements, potted plants, shrubs, seedlings, both floral and vegetables, as well as herbs, etc., all to enhance that special day. At present, we are in the process of planting a new Christmas tree in the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital garden. We have already acquired the tree and awaiting the rain. We are also in the process of planting a garden at the back of the new library, where persons, young and old, may be able to sit under the almond trees and enjoy peace and tranquility.